So for this project that we're doing called The Rabbit in the Moon, the legend of the Rabbit in the Moon is a very common folklore tale that is told in Japan every fall because they say the best time to see the rabbit in the moon is in the harvest moon, which only happens in autumn. So what you need for this project is 2 pieces of paper. One can be a scrap, masking tape, thick paint like acrylic, and you'll need the colors of blue or navy blue, black, and white. A good sized paintbrush, a pencil, and a pair of scissors. Let's begin. So I'm actually going to take my whole paper and put it to the side. I'm not going to use it. I will take my scrap though and make sure that they're relatively the same size as each other. And I'm going to find something that's round, like this. And I'm going to trace it so I make a circle. So here is my circle, and what we're doing with this project is we're learning how to use masking paper, and our media is going to be acrylic paint on paper. So I got that, and now what I need is a rabbit. So not too close to your moon. Start with a rabbit's head. Kind of a teardrop for its body. It looks kind of like a chess piece. And then you want ears. And you can add other features, so if you want, paws down here and things like that. And you'll add a tail later. You can. On either side of your rabbit, put some pretty chunky grass. That's not chunky enough. Make it chunky. The thing with masking paper is it doesn't like smaller details, so we're really kind of pushing it with this grass here. And we'll only need this. Go ahead, take your scissors, cut out your moon. And I'm not going to cut out my bunny. I'm going to cut it all so it's one piece together. And if you want to fast forward through me doing this, you can. I will not be offended. So I've cut out my rabbit and I've cut out my moon. And let's see, I need a dish for my paint. What I'm going to do now is take my tape, get my other piece of paper, and I am going to put a roll of tape back of my moon, and wherever I want it up in my night sky, I'm going to stick it. Just like that. For my next one, roll more tape. And if you need to rip it to size, any tape that hangs off the edge will be found by your paint, and you don't want that. So make sure that if you rip it to size, that it does not hang off over the edge. There you go. Alright, so I've secured my rabbit, and I'm going to connect it to the bottom of my paper. Like that. Now, what I'm going to do is when you work with masking paper, we're going to practice on the moon first. You never want to brush toward the paper, because all you're going to do is shove the paint underneath the masking paper. You want to go from the paper out into your painting. So I'm going to go with dark blue first. If acrylic paint is sat for a while, go ahead and shake it. The small ones of these apple barrels are like 50 cents at Walmart, so just ask your parents next time they go to Walmart, get you these 3 colors, and let's practice on our moon. I'm going to go from outside in, or the inside out, excuse me. Outside and inside out in my moon. Alright, if you are working on a tabletop surface, you might want to have another piece of paper so it doesn't go on your table. I don't care about these tables, they all had acrylic on them. If you do a good acrylic on, let's say, a table, it can come off with a little bit of alcohol or hand sanitizer. Alright, so I'm going to go and fill in the rest of my sky. Now I'll obviously come back and give this a second coat to make absolutely sure that this is blue, 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 blue. And you can come back in with black as well, mix it with your blue to make it even darker. That just rich blue that night skies are, especially on cooler nights. It's so pretty. I actually need some more blue. Alright, so I'm going to do the majority of the sky here, but I'm starting to get toward my other end. Same concept with the paper down here. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to stop, and you can hold it down with your finger if you want to make very careful sure that this doesn't fly up on you. But you're going to very carefully paint away from the center of your rabbit. Like I said, you can push down. A little bit of patience to do this. Alright, now I'm going to come in here where there's a corner. I'm going to go away from the corner. Very careful and deliberate with the strokes that I'm doing. Now I'm going away from the grass. Notice I am using a scrap of paper to protect the table. Alright, so that is one coat. While this bottom part dries, I'm going to, and this is already dry at the top, I'm going to go in and do the top again. So I want that rich, no streakies blue at the top. A booger in there. Sometimes paint develops boogers if they've sat in a bottle for a long time too. If the paint's not coming out, more than likely you have booger stuck in there. It's a very technical term for it, but that's what it's called. Alright, so now I'm getting down around my rabbit again. Get out of here, scissors. Actually, I want a bigger. Oh. Well. I can see a piece of paper. Alright. I need a bigger piece of paper. This just ain't cutting it. Not cutting it. Ooh, another booger. Alright. Get off. Get off. Get off. We ain't gonna fight. There. About to grab it with my fingers. Alright, go back over your rabbit. Making sure to go away from it. Might be a little camouflage now, but it's still there. I've come back in with blue, and if you want, while we're still in this stage, I'm going to add some black, mix it in so we get a very deep blue. You do not need to add a lot of black to blue to deepen it up. Black definitely overwhelms any color that it's mixed with. Come back in and scrumble, being sure to avoid your rabbit. This will lift up the paper, so be careful. I have some of those galaxy feels to it though. Oh yeah, paint on my hands. Oh well. So it said that the rabbit in the moon lives up there now to make mochi, which is a type of rice candy or snack, little rice cakes. And there are other countries that actually have the same story, but the rabbit always makes something different. So it's like in the Chinese version of this story, Japan did get it from China in the Nara period, so way back in the day. The rabbit makes the elixir of life that the moon goddess uses for herself. Alright, I know it's a little wet, but I'm sure you can start to peel this away. I'm going to start with the moon first. Being careful with wet paint. Got my nice bright moon. And now I'm going to gently peel away the rabbit. And yeah, my thing fell apart. That's okay. There is my rabbit with my moon. I'm gonna come in with my white. Clean up my brush really good, or just get a whole nother brush entirely, up to you. So I'm going to go with a thinner brush. I'm going to start to add stars. There's also a Japanese legend that there's a kingdom in the moon, that the moon princess lives up there with her royal party who follows her everywhere. That's where we get the legend that led to the creation of Sailor Moon, which is a popular anime. Now I remembered I asked that question which character is named after rabbit, Usagi, and that's why she is, because the rabbit in the moon. Granted, the moon princess is not a rabbit, though. It's just a reference. Alright, I'm gonna have some stars. Maybe have some shooting stars. Happening. But my moon is actually quite pristine. I'm going to take just a tiny bit of this. I'm going to mix it in with my white to make the gray, blue-gray I need to put the rabbit in the moon. Gotta work quick with this. The less paint you have, the quicker it's going to dry without putting your hand in any of these stars. Starting at the upper side of your moon, upper left. I'm going to draw out the body. You need to mix some white gray, that's fine. Whoosh, in the middle of a lesson. Start making kind of a head shape out of craters. Add 2 ears. Down here, I'm going to add another shape because it says that the rabbit pounds mochi. I'm going to make some more of this. Pounds mochi in a mortar and pestle. He has to pound the rice down into the flour that he needs to work with. And there's the rabbit in the moon. You can make it lighter gray, like really lighter, and add some more craters. Not as dark as, let's say, our rabbit. And yeah, I just stuck my, so easy to do, it really is. I'm gonna have a few more craters around the edge of the moon. And let's say, what we're actually seeing in the moon to make these gray spots that people either see a man in the moon or the crab in the moon. It changes culture to culture, country to country. But what we're actually seeing is a extinct lava field on the moon. Fun fact for you. Alright, so I got my rabbit, this mortar and pestle, pounding away in the moon. I don't like that hole right there. There we go. Alright, so you're probably thinking, well, Miss Wisnett, that's great and all, but what do I do with this guy down here? So make sure that your paintbrush is in water, and we're actually going to come back down here and we're going to add detail, because you noticed that when you drew it on your masking paper and then did it, all that detail disappeared. So I'm going to actually redraw, it's a little hard to see the shine, redraw the rabbit's body at the bottom. And once this is completely dry all the way around the edge, I'm going to come back in with a black permanent marker. Reach over there. And come tighten it up. Well, I have a blue bit right there. It's okay. If you have any blue bits that somehow got underneath your paper, use it to your advantage. Make it a black and white spotted rabbit. Maybe something has taken a chunk out of one of your pieces of grass. There's grasshoppers in Japan. Careful you don't drag your permanent marker through wet paint. It will ruin your permanent marker. I'll actually play with this a little bit more. My paper got quite wet right there, so I gotta be careful. And there we are. The rabbit and the moon. That's how you use masking paper to create shapes that are not touched by the paint. Alright, I hope you do this at home. If you don't have the supplies, ask your parents or the adult in your life, can you please help me get this 50-cent paint so I can do this? 2 pieces of paper and the supplies that I told you. Tape, it could be Scotch tape, it does not have to be masking tape. And I can't wait to see what you do if you're quarantined at home. Alright, bye-bye.